We all want a chance to show the world what we can do, to tell the world how we feel. A chance to prove that we're worth something.
We all want to do something really great. A chance to make a mark in this world. To say, look out people, here comes something really big.
A mural project can be a way to do that. But before you grab your heavy-duty texters or spray can and race off to the nearest wall, remember, great things don't just happen.
A mural should be seen, so put it where people will see it. Sydney, in front of the Opera House? That will be noticed. But, just in case, it has to be big. Every mural is different because every spot is different.
With the mural at the Opera House, people could see it right beside them, or they could see it from across the harbour.
And either way, it had to work.
A mural that big takes a lot of putting together. High school kids and the public worked on this one, helped by a team of mural artists called the Public Art Squad. David and other members of the team worked out a basic theme. Here, it had to be about the Opera House and the harbour.
Why?
Mural painters can't ignore what's all around them. A mural should be a kind of magic mirror for those people who live and work around it.
It should grow out of its surroundings, reflecting maybe history, ideas, or maybe getting away on a fantasy trip.
Here, by the harbour, well, this mural just had to be about the Opera House.
One thing that you have to be aware of with murals, they're not just paintings for the sake of paintings. We, in fact, realise how it fits into its environment, how it's seen from ferries, how it's seen from across the harbour, how it's seen from up close, and the relationship with it to the building, the gardens, and the flow of traffic around it. So we were really looking at all those other extraneous elements before we came up with that design.
And for the kids, it's more than just colouring in by numbers. It's problem solving by cooperation. It can be really great working with an artist. You can discuss ideas with them and work out problems. The artist, your teacher and you all belong to a team.
Doing your research, collecting your ideas, learning ways to use these paints and brushes. Making colour and shapes say what you think is worth saying. And being a part of something much bigger than just your work.
You don't know what you can do until you try.
The technique of working on that scale, we try and devise a beginning point so that they design things on paper and they can see what they look like either on the model of the job or on the job itself. Once we get them beyond that, and there were some really nice examples of that last week where people started literally copying things out of books as kites, and then they took it a bit further and started doing art reference things, and they started to go up. And there was one girl who particularly was very fast and very skilled and very good and really got to know the ropes very quickly. Then we gave her a challenge. Then we gave her something that was really almost beyond a lot of other artists. And she spent 2 days tackling that challenge, and the challenge was a whole net full of fish, and it required her skills way beyond what she'd experienced before, but we ascertained in her case that she had that ability to do it. So we're watching the kids all the time, and other people, to see how far they can go and what they can do.
Okay, so what's a mural? Before the painting starts, it's a wall that has something to say. The wall has a character, its own surroundings.
Then there is an idea. The idea has shapes, colours and a message that belongs, that adds to that special wall.
The idea starts to take its own form. The idea turns into drawings. They grow from someone looking at the shapes that make that wall and looking at the things that live around it.
Ideas grow inside ideas. Information is collected. Maybe a photograph becomes a drawing. The drawing is projected.
This then becomes areas to be coloured on a grid. The grid is enlarged. Maybe this is done using some chalk-covered string. a large drawing becomes even larger.
With a bit of magic and a lot of knowing how it's done, the small photo collected as research grows 6 metres tall, big enough to be seen across the city.
Murals are an event. Murals can take you off into fantasy. They can be an escape when the world is too busy to have a good time. You can find them in parks. They grow on a house wall. A little bit of thought makes that wall no wall at all.
If you don't watch out, murals grow on small walls that someone can make messy, or jump off the wall and make a mess of you.
Murals grow in the city on drab concrete masses that can be made much more pleasant, or on weatherboards in the country surrounded by sky. Take a school, add some organisation and cooperation, put in some research and images, give it room to spread, and life can have a little more colour. So a wall becomes a mural project with organisation and cooperation.
Walls have to be prepared. With the right volunteers, everything is primed for action. Life can be good fun, and of course, you should still aim for that quality product. Where do all these ideas come from? How do you collect the images, the pictures that make up a mural? Where do you look?
Images, they're everywhere. Our world's full of images. The hard bit is picking out the ones you want. You need a theme. Images can come from cultures that are ancient, or they can come from styles not so old. They can be mixed and remade. So his painting was borrowed to become part of our painting. Themes can start a collection that is organised, changed until it grows and is finished. Picnic on the grass becomes a painting on the wall. Bands playing around play their part in this mural.
Boats parading by during the day are painted having a party at night. Or you can take penguins from pictures. The old school that's gone appears once again as a mural painted on the building that replaced it. Images grow with imagination.
Sea pirates in the city and an unnatural native bear. Dreams in balloons and strange sea swimmers. One man's fantasy and a child's strange dream. Mad parties on ferries with oversized fish. One serious player or crowds playing around. Fantasy visions of the future, the present and the past. So many images, so many ways of putting down paint, of putting life into a painted world. Learning what colours and shapes, brushes and paint can do. Learning to care for equipment, responsibility. Learning that if you make a mess, someone has to clean up. Learning that as you work through your life, sometimes it shines and sometimes it rains. But that, in the end, effort is worth the results. And what do our teachers think?
Look, I think the students gain an awful lot from being involved in a project like this. I think they come to terms with the fact that painting can be completely different to the way they've looked at it before. They're painting on a really huge scale here. Instead of thinking in terms of the biggest painting they can do being a 12 square foot painting, they're looking at something that's really huge. They're looking at applying paint in a completely different way. They're learning some terrific techniques, some new techniques, and I think that they're gaining a great deal.
It's one of the things that I've found most positive in the experience for my kids coming out here from Minto is that they had experience not only with kids from other nationalities, right, which today demonstrated incredibly. As soon as we were thrown into each other's laps, people started talking, started working together, started showing each other ideas. It's not only that, but it's people also of different ages working together and working together as person to person. I am painting this, you are painting that, we'll talk about it together, person to person, artist to artist. And that, I think, is a tremendous experience, and all the different backgrounds of people. They're not just artists, and the kids are not just here for the art experience. No matter what field they go to in art, the experience they have in things like this is practical and real. And I think that goes a long way, career-wise, or just in terms of the fact of experience.
If you're interested, there are people to help, and there are books to tell you how. So do it. And because murals don't always last forever, document it. And who knows, this probably sounds corny, but when you're finished, it just might be worth singing about.
Could only speak, if those eyes could only see, if those beautiful golden tresses were mine in reality, if I could only hold your hand as I did when you called my name. But it's only a beautiful picture in a beautiful golden frame.
Bravo! Slow kisses, slow kisses.